sit as far away from me as you possibly can. Online votes, great. Welcome. I'm going to say welcome several times in a row here so that the sound of my voice is a clue to the people out in the commons that we are indeed about to begin. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. The little tap dancing that we do at the beginning just to try to come on, the show is about to begin. Come in the room, take a seat. Yes, feel free to start closing the doors. All right, so welcome to today's forum. My name is Reverend Sara Lewis. I use she, her pronouns. I am a middle-aged white woman with dark brown curly hair, today wearing a gray dress and a pink and purple shawl. And this forum is streaming live on Zoom and YouTube and also being recorded. Today's topic is trans inclusion and welcome. So I will have a few other folks speaking. And remember, if you're in the room and you have a question at any time, just raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone around. The people online cannot hear us unless we use the microphones. And if you are on Zoom and you have a question or a comment at any time, you can raise your virtual hand, or you can wave your real physical hand, or you can put something in the chat. And Carbon will let us know that there's something to bring into the room. So let's begin by lighting our chalice. Our chalice lighting words are by Jamie Yandel. We light this chalice for the quiet truths we carry and for the futures we're brave enough to write. In this circle, we honor the courage it takes to live openly, the softness that sustains us, and the joy and power that grow when we gather. As the chalice glows, may we feel steadiness rise in us. May we trust that our becoming, messy, radiant, unfolding, wholly belongs to us. So this forum is in honor of International Transgender Day of Visibility, which is on March 31st each year. It was founded in 2009, created by transgender activist Rachel Crandall Crocker of Michigan, as a reaction to the lack of LGBTQ+ recognition for transgender people, and the fact that the most well-known day that was transgender-centered was the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which mourned the murders of transgender people. But it wasn't an acknowledgement and a celebration of the joy of living members of the transgender community. So Transgender Day of Visibility is the day to honor life, joy, possibility, and that is what we are here to do some of today. And I'm going to invite our member engagement specialist, Chloe. Hopefully you've all had a chance to meet Chloe. Chloe's been doing a really great job with membership and welcome here, and has some general tips about welcome and inclusion that are applicable across many different forms of welcome. So Chloe.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm not great at public speaking, so if I sound shaky, then forgive me.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
You're doing great.
Thanks. I'm a younger white woman, with my hair in a messy bun like usual, and I'm wearing a white and blue striped shirt. I just have a couple tips that I follow religiously. One of them, oh, I'm sorry, Carbon, can we have the slide? The next slide, sorry. This is one of my, one of my Bibles, I guess. I use it very religiously, which is a coffee hour caution. I know you can't see it very well from here. I have copies of it if you'd like. It just changes some of the questions that are natural to ask, that we want to ask, like, are you new here? What are you doing, or what are you going to school for? Are you working? Sorry. And reframing them. So one of my favorite ones, instead of asking, are you new here, is, I don't think we've met before. My name is Chloe. Or, that was a really great service today. I really liked this part. What was your favorite part of the service? Or even asking what brought you here today. The other one to refrain from, like I just said, was what do you do for work? For a variety of reasons, someone could be laid off, they could be on disability, they could be in school. It just might be something that they don't want to chat about as a new person. So what I usually say instead is, what takes up your time during the week? What do you do during the day, during the week? And then my other one is personal invitations go a really long way. So inviting someone to the discussion between services in the youth room is great, or to dinners. Hey, do you want to sit with me at my table during dinner? Those personal invitations go a really long way. And then pronouns. Carbon, can I have the next slide? It's a little pronouns 101. The biggest one is don't assume someone's pronouns. And be aware of others' pronouns, including the use of no pronouns if they want to use their name instead. If you mess up, apologize and move on. Don't make a big deal out of it. When you make a big deal out of it, it puts a lot of emotional energy onto the other person, making them have to, make you feel better, which is not helpful. And a great way to find out someone's pronouns if you don't know them is by saying, hi, I'm Chloe. I use she, her pronouns. Do you want to share your pronouns? Knowing that no is a perfectly acceptable answer if they don't want to share with you. And if you already know the person, but you want a reminder of their pronouns, it's also appropriate to ask, can you remind me what your pronouns are? I know I just said this, but again, no is a perfectly acceptable answer if they don't want to share with you, and it's a complete sentence. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Carvin. So we often get quite a few questions about pronouns or worries about pronouns. This is something that folks can get tripped up on is, okay, now I'm afraid I'm going to use the wrong pronouns, and so I'm just not sure what to do. Again, just don't make a big deal out of it. It's not that big a deal to say, hey, I just don't remember. Could you remind me? Or say, oops, I messed up, and move on. But I wanted to pause there and see if there were any questions from anyone. All right, we've got it. That's perfect. So next up, I'm going to invite Hawthorne to share some of the wisdom. We had a transgender inclusion in congregations class this year, and this is also something that folks have been thinking about. So Hawthorne has some reflections.
Hello, my name is Hawthorne. I use she, her pronouns, which is not necessarily obvious to anybody who looks at me. That goes back to something that Chloe was talking about assumptions. And another reasonable assumption is to say, okay, this person uses she, her pronouns.
Oh. We're going to get this a little closer up to your height. Is that better, Corbin?
I was hearing a little bit of feedback earlier. Okay.
So just keep going.
Okay. So you might assume, okay, this person uses she, her pronouns. That must mean they think of themselves as a woman. And that's not the case for me. My relationship with gender is more complicated than that. If you offer me a gender, I will say politely, no, thank you. So the trans inclusion and welcoming course that we went through in fall of last year, which I was one of the facilitators for that course, it was a video course put together by a couple of trans people of color who happen to be associated with Unitarian Universalism. The course was designed with UU congregations in mind, but it's useful far beyond that. And it's not just a Trans 101. It also talks about a lot of other topics, including other axes on which people may or may not fall within the average or, quote, normal population. It addresses topics like ageism, sexism, racism, all sorts of different things. And the focus is always on beloved community. That is, building a community, a group of people where everyone feels welcome as they are and feels free to express how they are to the other members of the community. And it's always going to be a work in progress. So the course is still available online. If anyone would like to participate, you can reach out to members of the church staff. I can probably direct you in the right way once I have access to my full email search history. I had to do a little bit of jiggering this morning just to get something up on my phone so I would have something to say. But the church has already paid for the course, and you can just register at no additional cost and spend a few hours watching the videos. There is homework that's provided in the course, but you're obviously under no obligation to do any particular part of it. It's intended to help folks out with learning how to be more welcoming and inclusive. So, any questions?
My question is, can we put that up on the website? Can we just put a link to it up? Can we put a link to that course on our church website?
So unfortunately, we can't just do that because of the course. We've paid for registration for our congregation, but we can't just put the code publicly out there. So I can share the access code with anyone who wants it if you just contact me, but we're not allowed to just post it. Yeah, I mean, the course is, they are trying to make money from tuition for the course, and if the codes for accessing their courses are just out on the internet, then they won't get anybody registering. So yes, copyright adjacent issue.
I was wondering, I'm unsure about how to pronounce your name. Is it Harthorn, Harthorn?
You got it right on the second try. It is intended as a combination of hearth, as in hearth and home, and thorn.
Yeah, and I know that some other folks who took the course and helped facilitate the course are present. Would any of you like to add anything? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Keto. I use they, them pronouns. I was sort of helping facilitate, and I would say that it's might be a draw-in as a trans inclusion class, but it's really well set up as a let's be more inclusive of everybody, and I really liked that.
There was a lot of focus on just having grace with each other. And I like to open up the class. I opened up the class saying, I'm really bad with names. I'm terrible with names. I think it took me 3 or 4 years to learn Anita's name, even though I hugged her twice a week. So, I'm just bad with names. Give me grace. I will give you grace if you mess up my pronouns, because I use they, them pronouns. And what was the other thing? There was another. Yeah, and then it was very inclusive of everybody. A lot of people were kind of timid to take it because of the trans. They felt like it was going to be very trans focused, but it was not. It was like Hawthorne said, that it was very, we're talking about everybody being included and we're not trying to exclude anybody, and how do we make everyday interactions more inclusive so that everybody is welcome.
And I think that everybody would benefit from taking the course. And also, if there's some synergy around having a group go through the course again with facilitation, that's very likely. So let Sarah know if that's something that you'd like to see happen.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to add anything or any questions?
I just had a thing from,
I'm sorry.
I, Anita, I just had an observation this morning. It doesn't have to do with the class or what Hawthorne said, but when Alicia was talking about who we welcome and so on, she said, we welcome people like of all sexual identities, and I thought, isn't it really gender identities that we're talking about? I mean, do we have a feeling about that?
Well, both. And I believe that both are in the welcome language, because we say we are a people of many genders, and that we welcome all sexual identities. And they're not the same. Yeah, they're not the same. So there are many genders and there are many sexualities. And one of the things is that while transgender identity, non-binary, gender non-conforming are in the LGBTQ rainbow, sexual attraction or romantic attraction and gender identity are two separate aspects of identity. So a person's gender identity does not necessarily inform their sexual identity. So that's why we use both languages for welcome. Yeah.
And there's even more.
Yes.
So like my grandson, his sexual identity is boy. His gender identity is, what is it? It's like non-gendered. What do we say? I can't remember right now. Non-binary, right. But then the person you're attracted to is another thing altogether, it seems to me. So I just hadn't heard sexual identity before, and I didn't hear anything about gender in that speech. Maybe it went by me this morning, but I just was kind of surprised by that.
I'm pretty sure it is in there, but I'll check the welcome language. Because yes, the goal is to welcome people across many different identity spectrums and all sorts of identities. So yeah, we're trying to welcome, and those are two different ways of welcoming folks across the spectrum of identities. Yeah. Did you want to say something?
I did.
Hold on for the microphone. They can't hear online unless we have it.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, I would be speaking for a few minutes, so I can wait.
Okay, yeah, we have time, so if you want to speak now.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, my name is Robert Michaels Jorda. My pronouns are they, he, she. I would like to bring in a perspective which I'd say is rather unique when it comes culturally to trans inclusion and LGBTQ inclusion. So I just moved here from a year ago from Wichita, Kansas, as an openly trans person. And I have been involved in Unitarian leadership in Wichita, Kansas. I founded and chaired the Pride Committee for the church. And I just wanna say, I felt so much inclusion as a trans person that I'm even amazed this workshop is being held, because I thought everyone is so respectful that I even doubted if it needed to be held at all. Because back in Wichita, even as I held the code to the church, I had been misgendered and disrespected from the pulpit so many times, and I was identifying as a trans woman back then. no matter how femme I was, no matter how long my hair is, no matter how long my skirts were. He, sir, he. And it basically, I mean, I was church leadership. I told the congregation president, I need some respect if I'm going to continue to do work for this church. And now later on, I see this disrespect boiling over on a state level. We see the driver's license thing. Has anyone been caught up on the news about that? Because essentially the driver's licenses of trans individuals were invalidated. It's such an openly, flagrantly hostile environment. Aaron Reed of Aaron in the Morning, which is a respected transgender news outlet, actually put Kansas on a do not travel list for trans people. The same with Texas. The same with Florida. And we're under fire. We're under attack. I actually would consider myself refugee is not, in a very colloquial sense of the word, what's internally displaced persons is more like it. And coming here, I'm just proud of the Pacific Northwest, at least this part of the Pacific Northwest, for cultivating such an open, respectful culture. And I just want to say I am proud to be up here right now in safety and love and in respect and integrity. And I just want to say I thank you all so much for contributing to as part of this in the name of community and in the name of love. Thank you, and thank you.
I think that's a really good segue to, Keto had some information about, yes, the Pacific Northwest is a place for refuge and safety. And Hawthorne, if you want to sit down, you're welcome to stay there or wherever you're comfortable. But Keto's got some information about the No Hate in Washington State campaign.
Yes. The Pacific Northwest on the whole is really great. I just wanted to let you all know that Idaho is going to probably be put on the do not travel list as well. There's a bill that's going to be signed as the most strict bathroom bill in Idaho to criminalize people using the bathroom that's not matching their sex assigned at birth, even in private businesses in Idaho, and it comes with jail time. So, yeah. Very disheartening. But in Washington, there is a group of individuals that have created a coalition called No Hate in Washington State. And they are the charge behind opposing two initiatives that are going to be on the ballot in November in Washington. And one of them is would repeal the Safety Act, which would force teachers to out their students to unsafe family members, amongst other things. And the other one would be, ooh, that's the same side. The other one that's going to be on the ballot in November would ban trans girls from sports in our schools. And so we can't be complacent, even in Washington, about the state of our laws and who we accept and love in diversity. And so I have flyers, if you'd like more information, that No Hate in Washington State has put out. I'm going to keep printing them through the library. If I can use your library card and your funds each month to do that, I'd love that too. I'm going to be handing them out when my union is tabling at events this summer as well. So the initiatives are backed by Let's Go Washington, which is a very conservative group that's backed by a very conservative California multimillionaire. They have a lot of money, and they're being outspent by this group by 10 times. So we have to give them support when we can. So the group is called No Hate in Washington State. I have flyers if you'd like some more information about these initiatives.
Are the hands for flyers or for comments? For flyers, okay. All right, that's the microphone.
I have not heard of the do not travel based on what is on your driver's license. Is that what you're saying? I don't understand what that is.
So there's a really lovely individual, uses she, her pronouns, Erin. Who uses she, her pronouns. Yeah, Erin in the morning is how you can find her online. But she does a really great job following the news and legislation around the country, specifically around trans people and their safety. So she puts out a list to say, these are states that are very unsafe for trans people.
Not safe as a trans person to travel.
Yes, uh-huh.
You were saying it was the driver license people who said this person can't travel.
Yeah.
And the driver's license is because in Kansas, they did just revoke the driver's licenses of transgender people, just took their driver's licenses away. So that's the confusion about driver's licenses. In Kansas. Carbon.
Just a couple of things.
All
First, Reverend Mary shared the full welcome.
thank you for the full welcome script, Reverend Mary. Yes. So we are a people of many genders, many racial identities, many economic levels, many sexual identities, and in all the ways that we are different, united as one people. So yes, many genders and many sexual identities.
I sort of think many gender identities would be a little better.
Could be, I mean, the tweaking is, yeah, there are different preferences as we look at language preferences. Internally displaced persons is a sign of genocide, Schuyler adds. Yeah, and right now, the United Nations recognizes transgender people in the United States as internally displaced people because of the number of states that are no longer safe, legally or culturally or otherwise. Anything else? Hold on for the microphone.
I haven't renewed my driver's license in a while. So when you go to get your driver's license, it just says male or female. Is that all it says?
It's a state-by-state thing. Washington State has an X pronoun for you don't want to have a pronoun. So you could have M, F, or X on your driver's license in Washington State. But it's state-by-state law. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up the welcome language, Anita, in our service. The language that we have now was as a result of me sitting in and taking the trans inclusion class that Alex and Hawthorne did such a beautiful job with. And one of the things that we learned is the difference between welcome language and inclusive language. And what we had before was welcome language, everyone is welcome. Inclusive language is we are diverse. And it was really clear what the difference between those were. And so I completely rewrote our welcome, you know, the introduction to our service based on what I learned in the class. So we are always learning and growing, right?
And online, thank you, Carbon.
Tyler has a raised hand. You asked Tyler.
All right, yes, Schuyler, if you'd like to speak into the room, Carbon's going to bring you in.
Speaking into the room sounds so powerful. I was just wanting to add, I guess, a little clarity about sexual identity and sexual orientation. I really hadn't thought about it, and I'm really glad Anita brought it up. My understanding, I guess, is that sexual identity is more like a label, and sexual orientation is like the attraction but that's also different from romantic identity. You can feel romantic with certain people that you're not necessarily sexually attracted to. It's just kind of complex. And then there's some campy kind of labels like transbian, right? That kind of combine them. You're a trans person, and because you're a trans woman, you're attracted to women, you can be a lesbian. So that kind of combines both, right? And it's just kind of a silly term, I think, but it campy is probably the best term for it. But I just wanted to add some of that to maybe offer some clarity and some new ideas.
Thank you, Schuyler. Yeah, so this is a complex thing, and I would also lift up our Whole Lives program. So we have Our Whole Lives for adults, and that's a great class to take to learn more and unpack your understanding about all things human sexuality across the lifespan, including all the many ways that we express our sexuality and our gender and other things. So watch for those programs whenever they're offered. The last one we canceled for lack of registration. So if you want to keep Our Whole Lives alive, register, register, register.
I was privileged to teach Our Whole Lives for, was it 4th and 5th graders? Twice. And at 4th and 5th grade, half the class was identifying as trans in 4th and 5th grade. So I thought this was a thing that people figured out as they were becoming teenagers. It's not. It's earlier and earlier and earlier.
Hold on for the microphone.
I have a grandson who in high school they asked for gender, and he said, "I don't know yet."
And it can change over that.
So speaking of identifying as a particular gender or being trans earlier in life, I am active with the Pizza Clutch nonprofit organization, which establishes safer spaces for youth, mostly in local high schools, so that they can talk about issues that are important to them around being part of the quilt bag. I'm trying to popularize the use of the word quilt bag instead of the acronym LGBTQ+. It's simpler in my mind. It also calls back to the imagery of the AIDS quilt. But Pizza Clutch is always looking for volunteers, by the way.
Could you explain what Pizza Clutch is?
Pizza Clutch is a nonprofit. It was established something over 10 years ago. They have been one of our Share the Plate recipients here at OUUC. What we do is we bring pizza into a local school, mostly high schools, although there are a couple of middle schools as well. And we set up during the lunch period, and people who are part of the quilt bag community or are allies of it are welcome to come in and share pizza, share names and pronouns, share highs and lows of their week, and share things that are important to them, usually but not always about quilt bag issues. We've had discussions about, for example, the issue with trans girls in school sports come up. We've also had a lot of discussions of anime. Anime.
I love my grandsons and how liberally they've been brought up. And one of my grandsons, who's now 13, but last year at 12, he loves to wear gay buttons and gay hats and all kinds of gay stuff. And if people come up and ask him, "Are you gay?" he says, "No, but I love gays." And but he was bullied a lot just for what he wore, you know, to support gays. And I'm proud of him because he's only 12 and he wants people to know everybody should be loved. So that's cool.
Yes. Sure.
I just want to say as well that these diversities, of queerness. They also intersect with neurodivergence, gender identity, to the point where they could all feel the same and not the same at the same time. Like when I was figuring myself out as first a trans woman, I felt like I needed a certain chemical, and I got the certain chemical. Then gender fluidity happened, and I don't need the chemical anymore. Then, of course, there's a whole school of thought which says you need to take this chemical in order to be trans. That's transmedicalism, and no, you don't need to do that. And there's also the sense of othering when it comes to being neurodivergent, to the point where I consider either community to be the same. Like, even before I discovered myself, no matter how straight or cis or male I seemed, I still felt othered to begin with. So basically, you take in all these labels, micro labels, umbrella labels, whatever else. At the end of the day, you just try to meet the person, try to meet the needs of the person in a matter of love and in a matter of respect, because this is where it all comes down to in the end.
Thank you. So I wanted to highlight some resources and programs that our larger UU community brings to us. So Carbon, if I could have those slides. So the first slide that just went by is just the umbrella uplift, which is an effort to make us all aware of programs like these. So the Woodlands is one that I frequently put into the announcements, but I don't know if people notice it, and I wanted to highlight it. So the Woodlands is a monthly online spiritual community gathering for trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming, gender expansive, and intersex people, and for the parents and caregivers who love and support them. Rooted in Unitarian Universalist values, the Woodlands exist to offer belonging, spiritual care, and healing-centered community in a world that too often denies trans people safety, dignity, and rest. It's not a discussion group or an advocacy forum. It's a place to be held, celebrated, and nourished. So Woodlands gatherings happen monthly. They're chaplain-led, and they are for all ages with children and youth held in a safer congregation sort of setting with adults, making sure that their space is safe. So the Zoom link, the registration link is often in our announcements, and if anybody wanted to avail themselves of that program, I understand that it is a really lovely gathering. And then the next one, so Unitarian Universalism is working with a collective of trans leaders and trans organizers. The umbrella name here is Pink Haven Coalition. And the goal of Pink Haven is to support trans folks who need to relocate or who need other resources for their safety. So people who are relocating from areas and states that are not as safe for them to areas that are safer. Western Washington is a destination. And so we have many ways that you can help. You can donate to Pink Haven. They need funds to help people. Or if you want to become involved in helping with hosting or supporting people who are arriving in Western Washington, there is a way to do that. This is all kept very safe, so it's not like that, it's not as easy as just some volunteer opportunities. You do have to be vetted to make sure that you are safe. But you can talk to me or Reverend Nancy if you're interested in figuring out how to get rooted into being a volunteer with Pink Haven. Reverend Nancy Reed McKee, who is a retired minister who is a member here at OUC. So you can find her information in Rome. And then the last thing is that we are a welcoming congregation. which is a program that the UUA runs to certify congregations as doing the work to be welcoming to LGBTQ, TGQ, Now, I'm going to stop there because people are going to be like, TGQ and B, I've never seen that one before. So transgender, gender non-conforming, non-binary is, wait, am I missing the Q in the middle there then? Gender queer, thank you. Yes. So in the way that LGBTQ plus tends to focus on sexual identities, T, G, Q, and B is focusing more on gender identities. So there are 5 practices of welcome renewal that they ask that congregations do on an annual basis. And we really are doing them, but what we're not doing right now is that we don't have a team of congregants who are making sure that we're doing them and filling out the paperwork. I know that sounds really exciting, to be like the group of people who make sure the paperwork gets filled out, but if you would like to make sure that OUC remains welcoming and you wanted to be part of a welcome congregation team, talk to me. I would love to have a team of congregants do this recertification officially, fill out the paperwork. So the 5 practices are: first, you become a welcoming congregation. Check. Done that. You have a welcoming worship service. We do that all the time. We do welcoming days of observance, so Trans Day of Visibility, Trans Day of Remembrance. You complete at least one module of learning about welcoming LGBTQ, TG, Q, and B. We do that as well. And support a welcoming project. We do that as well. So we've done all the things. It would not be hard for you as a group of congregants to just monitor, support, make sure it happens, fill out the paperwork. So talk to me if that is of interest to anybody here. And I'll stop there and return to questions or comments.
I think for me, one of the things that is an issue is essentially ignorance. My late wife was a transgender woman, and on our second date, she told me this, and so my education got deep quickly. But we had a wonderful relationship. Ignorance of a possibility. I mean, all of us have grown up knowing what lesbians are and that there's gay men, and we got used to that, but trans is kind of a surprise, and we have to get around that. The other thing I want to appreciate is Hawthorne's gender approach, and I like that. Maybe I should answer when somebody asks my gender is, so what? Each one of us is different. Each one of us approaches life slightly differently. So we could have a label for each and every one of us, which would get a little confusing. In terms of pronouns, this probably won't happen, but my desire would be a pronoun that doesn't define, you know. Another point I want to bring up, and all you women will appreciate this, it took a woman to teach me about male privilege. I mean, I could see it once it was pointed out, but it's the water I swim in. And finally, I have a book recommendation for you, a wonderful novel called Transistor Radio by a man named Chris Bojalian. And my late wife said it's a true book. It's a novel, but the descriptions there and the opening up of our awareness is excellent. He's a good writer, but that's one of my favorites of his. Transistor Radio, yes, by Chris Bojalian. Other than that, you know, we're all different, you know. So my gender, I guess, from now on is so what?
I think think Anita is my name. I think that we need to do a little neurodivergent persons welcome series too.
Yeah, there's a lot. The ways that we can do welcome training and support, because welcome and inclusion, as Reverend Mary said, two different things. So we can say we're welcoming. It's like opening the door and saying, yeah, y'all can come in here if you want to. But inclusion is really, what are you setting up once folks are inside? And yeah, we can do that work constantly.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this without crying. Tears are okay, thank you. Okay, so I haven't spoken to my father in, well, let's go say low contact. I went low contact with my father about 15 or 16 years ago. As a Southern Baptist pastor, he does not understand my journey. And it went deeper than that. Yesterday, my sister spent the day with my father, and I came up in conversation, and her heart broke with his attitude towards me, that she realized just how deep his hate for me went. And she called me, and we had a really deep conversation, and I've just been sitting with it all day. And one of the things I came here and I've been sitting with all day today here is how grateful I am for this community, for creating this space, for making me feel safe, for helping me feel welcome, for everything that you guys have done in the work, in the learning, and the learning, because when I came here, I was ignorant also. I thought I was the problem. I thought a lot of things about myself. And even though not everybody understands me or non-binaryism or why non-binaryism, there's still these people that continue to show up and continue to try to understand and and they accept without understanding and still love me anyway. You hugged me before my transition, you hugged me during my transition, and you hug me every morning. Okay. And so after the conversation with my sister, just the love here was so much more glaringly obvious, and I got to watch another trans person experience this place for the first time today, and to find the safe place themselves that I found 6-7 years ago, that they were new, this was their first time, and my position in the choir loft, I get to see everybody's face. And it starts out a little scared, a little confused, not sure what kind of church this is. And about halfway through, there's a breakthrough of like, oh, this place feels different. And you can see the relief come over their face. And I just love watching new people come here and find that space. And I also wanted to bring to attention, after all that emotionalness, is there's also something that we don't talk about very much, is there is hierarchy in the LGBTQ community, where there are, gay people who don't like trans people, and trans people who don't understand non-binary people. And so just to keep that on the forefront of people's brains, that the LGBTQ has infighting within itself and unacceptance, and because they don't understand, and they, there's the hierarchy. And then neurodivergent people have a huge overlap with trans people, so yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. All right, I'm going to stop us here. We could go on and on, but I'm going to give deep appreciation to everyone who shared today. whether it was a story, a question, a learning. Really, we're building this beloved community together, putting love at the center, and I appreciate all of you showing up to do that together. We'll extinguish our chalice with just that. We have love at the center always, and we will meet again to celebrate that. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.